For the past few weeks, I've been working on building my ideal daily routine. And this is a routine where I focus on my ibadah in the morning, I spend time journaling, I take care of my health through working out, and there are other daily non-negotiables as well. And something I've noticed is this: the secret to a successful day actually starts the night before. When we end our evenings with peace and with intentions for the next day, it becomes so much easier to wake up early, do your ibadah, and step into the new day with a feeling of clarity of what you want to get done. So before I show you a day in my life working on my ideal routine, let's get into the night before. To me, cooking dinner is kind of like a sign to my brain that it is time to wind down from the working day that I had during the day. It's a way of saying that it's time to nourish ourselves with a healthy homemade meal, and it's time to get cozy for a little bit. So today I'm making a tofu dish. I've been making tofu a lot more recently because I found this one way of making it that I really enjoyed. And I've been enjoying cooking new recipes a lot lately. Instead of making the same dishes every week, I try to at least have one day every week where I try something new. And I think it's just such a fun way to be creative with cooking. So it's currently, I think, around 7 a.m. or something. Sometimes I choose to pray Fajr later, but still in the time frame where you are supposed to pray it. That is what I did today. And basically, the reason why I did that is so that I can stay awake after Fajr instead of like staying awake after, 3, 4 a.m. So that I can start my day early. I did my Fajr routine and now I'm doing my morning pages, and I'm so excited because This is going to be my very last page of this journal. I do have like pages after this, but I already filled these in because sometimes I like to journal backwards. So this is going to be my last page, and I'm really excited about that because that means it's time for a new journal. So right here is my collection of all my journals. I think that if I would be proud of anything, it would be my journal collection, just because it kind of shows how I'm writing throughout the years, even though it's not always as consistent. It's kind of like my life's work in a sense. I think we should be viewing our journals as kind of our works of art, even though the writing may not be that good or it may not be considered art by others. I think if you look at it as kind of your life's work, I don't know, it just kind of romanticizes journaling for yourself as well. So I have a few options for my next journal. The first journal option is this hardcover journal that has kind of trees on it, and it has the words "believe in yourself" on it as well. I got this book from my mom as a gift. It has like quotes on some pages. For example, a quote that is in here is "live today fully and you create a lifetime of meaningful memories," which is nice to have like a quote every now and then. This is a lovely book. This is one of the options. The other option that I have is this soft cover notebook, and it has batik print on it. I got this when I was in Indonesia, and I just really like how it has a different front and back. This one doesn't have anything specific inside of it, but I do think it's very beautiful. And the last option is very simple, but also very like aesthetic in a sense. I feel like it's kind of a white, cream-ish, soft notebook, and the inside is also just lined. Now I do notice that these are all lined notebooks, and I usually journal in bullet journals, but I figured I have so many options, so I should choose from these three instead of getting a new bullet journal. So I might not do as much of the junk journaling that I used to do, but I feel like I'm currently also more in my kind of writing era instead of like a junk journaling era, so that's fine as well. So I'll probably start a new journal tomorrow. I think I'm going to ask on my Instagram which one I should do, just because I cannot really choose and I'm really okay with any one of these. I would ask you, but when this video is up, I need to have started already. Make sure to follow my Instagram if you want to see like such polls where I ask which journal to start or anything else. For me, probably the most grounding part of my day is when I do Islamic studies, just because it's just so beautiful to learn about the deen and you just immediately start falling in love with the deen more and more. I'm thinking of creating some sort of document or playlist of all the things that I am watching, like just so that if you ever feel like you're not sure where to start or what to listen to, that you can have that as kind of like IDs. So make sure to comment down below any podcasts or lectures or scholars you'd like listening to or reading, and then I can add that in that document as well, inshallah. So I asked on my Instagram which notebook I should be using next, and these two were basically the favorites. So the one with "believe yourself" on it, and the like soft cover white cream notebook. Specifically, 43% of the votes were on this journal and 34% were on this journal. So, and the other 23% was for the Indonesian journal. Now I've decided that I'm actually going to be using both of these journals, just because I think this journal is kind of too pretty to be doing my everyday journaling in, because sometimes when I just go ahead and journal, it just gets like messy. They're just everyday things, and I feel like this notebook is kind of too pretty for my everyday thoughts. So what I'll do is I'll keep this notebook for my daily journaling, so where I do my morning pages and I can just rant about anything that is on my mind. And then this journal I will use really specifically for everything related to my goals, my routines, and everything of that sort. This is going to be a journal with a clear purpose, like documenting me growing into the person who I want to become. And then this is just every day. It's been a long time since I've had multiple journals at once, but I do feel like it would fit me because in my previous journal, I had a combination of junk journaling and like random journaling, which kind of is nice because you really go throughout your life in a sense. You go through the aesthetic parts, through the messy parts and all of that. But it is kind of not as nice when it comes to a flip through because some pages are really nice and then it's just 10 pages of just text, and I think like this will divide it nicely. And for now, I think I've already done like my daily journaling, so maybe I'll start with my like goals journal, and I feel like this is going to be a journal filled with journal prompts. So questions to reflect on, for example, how you're doing, or like reflecting on your self-perception, on how you are viewing certain things. So I'm just going to look for some nice journal prompts. I actually do have some nice plans for this afternoon. I'm going to go to like one of the bigger museums in Amsterdam. They have this activity basically where you can go and paint, or I think it's drawing actually, painting or drawing in the garden of the museum. I think I'm going to change for that just because it's kind of getting chillier, and I don't know about you all, but I feel like summer is ending and it's not even the end of August and I'm already saying this, and usually I'm not really the kind of person who's already in the next season, just because I feel like it's kind of what stores are doing, in the sense that if you go to like a supermarket or if you go to like home stores, you'll probably already find like stuff for fall, everything autumn related, and usually I'm not really the kind of person who immediately gets in the fall mood, just because I feel like we're supposed to be living season by season. But if you are already in the next season when the current season isn't over, I feel like that's not doing the current season any justice. However, the reason why I'm kind of in the fall mood is not necessarily because I'm trying to get my home all autumn vibes or anything like that, even though it is very cozy, and I do notice I have been putting up a lot more candles than before. However, it's just that I'm literally seeing leaves falling from the trees in front of my home as well. Like there are leaves on the ground. I'll show you when I go outside. I mean, that is kind of the most very obvious sign that autumn is actually coming, and also the weather has been slowly becoming less warm and warm. So for me, it's just kind of like realistic to notice that a change of season is happening, even though it's still August. I am very excited about autumn coming actually, just because I think it's my favorite season. I'm not sure actually, but I think it is because it's kind of cozy, but it's not too cold. But for now, let's just do some prompted journaling in this very cute notebook, and let's get into the rest of the day. So I just did the one journal prompts. What would make you proud if you would only achieve one thing for the rest of the year? I only did this one prompt. I have to get going in a moment, but I also think it's nice maybe to do just one journal prompt at a time. I do briefly want to go over kind of my answer. I didn't actually expect me to give the answer that I gave, because honestly, I was thinking of all the goals that I have for myself for this year and kind of which one I think is most important. And it's difficult for me to do that because I honestly obviously have so many goals and I want to achieve them all. So I thought, which one is it really? If I could only have one. But every time I singled out one goal, I thought I don't want that to be my number one priority. For example, having the goal of maintaining a peaceful home that is always tidy, that has like homemade meals. I think that is one of the goals that I have for the rest of the year. And I love that goal, but I realized I don't want that to be like my main thing. And another thing, for example, is to continue making inshallah beneficial content on YouTube or Instagram. But again, I thought I don't want that to be my main priority. And I came to the conclusion that the thing that I want as my main priority, or at least the one goal that I would be proud of if I succeeded with it, is actually my goal of continuing doing Islamic studies. I've reverted to Islam almost 3 years ago, and during that period I feel like of course I've been learning, I've been reading books, I've been watching lectures. I always think this way, but I think I could have been doing more. But I feel like studying the deen, studying Islam is just something that is always on the back burner, something that you would be doing if you got all the other things done. So it's never really been like my main priority. And I'm realizing now that if I were to succeed with like the goal of doing Islamic studies consistently, that would mean that all the distractions of this world, whether they are kind of goals that I have or like other useless distractions such as social media, that means that I've put those distractions on the side and actually focused on what I think is important. Because of course, like we as Muslims, we are required to learn about Islam, learn about our religion, learn about our deen. I believe it's even like a duty of ours to gain knowledge and to put that on the side, or not necessarily on the side, but to always have that as kind of the last priority on our very long list, which I'm also guilty of. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me for that. It's not really doing it justice. And the reason why I wanted to share this is because maybe you're in the same boat as me, where you are, of course, you're occasionally watching a lecture or reading something, but it's not something like consistent on a daily or weekly basis. I think we should really improve on that. I'll just speak for myself now, but I'm just realizing that gaining knowledge is so important, and I should have it as my main priority right now, because honestly, every time I do learn something about Islam that I didn't know before, I feel my heart growing closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for me right now, and I think it might be for you as well, gaining knowledge is the quickest and most beautiful path towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to grow closer to Him. So that's just something that I wanted to share from my very first journal prompt of my goals page. I think it's a nice start, just because it emphasizes how, yes, I have 100 goals on my goals list, and I usually focus on other goals, and I have been seeing gaining knowledge as a goal that is like at the bottom of that list. I think it's literally at the bottom of that list. Let me check. Oh wait, I actually, for my 2025 goals list, I've put it at the top. Like, it's literally the first thing on my goals list. I am doing Islamic studies consistently. Oh wow, I didn't even realize that. I have not been putting it on top of my goals list when it comes to, in reality, like what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. It has been kind of on the bottom. I should be putting it back on top of my priorities for 2025, like I have intended to do so at the start of the year. And yeah, I hope you do too, because honestly, it will bring you so much closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is of course the ultimate end goal. I hope you get something from that. And now let's get going. So I'm back home. I just prayed and I think I'm actually going to take a nap, because I've been awake since Fajr. I was little bit later than like the starting time of Fajr, but still it was earlier than I usually wake up. So I'm really feeling like it's kind of the end-ish of the afternoon, and I feel like I could really use a nap. I really thought today's video would be kind of like a productive vlog or something, but I realize now that sometimes the most productive thing you can do is to take a moment of rest so that you can either continue later or have another nice day the day after. And also, just realistically, if you do stay awake after Fajr, I feel like if you want to take care of your well-being, you should be getting enough sleep still. So either going to bed early or like I'm doing right now, doing like an afternoon nap, which is sunnah, by the way. And I just love saying that things are sunnah when you already wanted to do them and you find out that it's actually Islamically good to do those things. It's just like, okay, I'll do it. And you already wanted to do it, but now you can change your intentions and get like maybe extra rewarded or something. But yeah, basically I'm going to sleep for a little bit, and inshallah I can have another day like this tomorrow where basically I'm spending my time on the things that I want to get done, doing my Islamic studies, house chores, nurturing kind of my inner child in the sense that I was drawing again and allowing myself to just let things be not necessarily ugly. I don't want to put down my work, but if I would look at it again, I would probably think, okay, well, that's maybe not that good. But it's not really about the end work. It's more so about allowing yourself to create, specifically when you're not used to creating. One of the workers at the museum actually went up to my friend, and my friend asked him if he was an artist, and he said, yes, I am. And now you are too, because you're holding basically chalk and you're working on something. So that's a nice thing also. I thought it was really cute for him to say that, because kind of doesn't really matter like what you're doing. If you create, you could be calling yourself an artist. But I'm losing myself a little bit. I'm ranting. I think I'm going to sleep now. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and let me know what else you would like to see, and I'll see you in the next one, inshallah.